Welcome to the shit show. Every single day, a new flavor of fuckery. Cause everybody's such, you see, and they're dumber than a bag of twats. Monday, bullshit. Tuesday, bullshit. Wednesday, hey, what the fuck? And then 4 more days of increasingly stupid, ridiculous, ignorant, boulder dash poppycock.
I swear one of these days I'll actually trim that last part off. But, oh well. Anywho. Sorry, leave it fluid on the lungs. Anywho. I hope everybody's doing alright today. Trying to organize. I'm trying to, try to reposition some of this. Hello, Lady Mist. I hope you're doing good today. It is good to have you here. I was feeling lazy and I wasn't entirely sure I was going to live stream tonight, but I really got to get these news tabs cleared out. And the only way I can do it is by coming on here and complaining about it before it stacks up and turns into 20 tabs open. We all know how I am about that. So I will do that. Yep. Because, yeah, if it gets any worse than this, it's just gonna be a lot. I guess we'll get started with some local news. Well, local is in Oklahoma anyway. This fucking guy right here. Superintendent of the schools. This guy is fucking bizarre. So, he pushed and pushed to have Bibles in the schools here. Like the classes are going to be forced to have the Bibles. They have to. This is not optional. And he also, him and his little lawmaker buddies, made sure that the only Bibles that are going to be used, they have to be ones that have the Constitution and the Bill of Rights or some shit in the Bible with it. And the only Bible that fits that description is the Trump Bibles. So that's who this guy is. He's the guy who wants to spend it. He's hoping to spend $3 million on Bibles for the schools here, but those particular Trump Bibles. So, just to remind you who this guy is, because if you're not from Oklahoma, it might not necessarily be something to interest you. Sorry, I'm rolling a cigarette real quick. So, there we go. Got it rolled. Ooh, hold on. Oh, hello. Hello, Bone. It never ends, right? I found it, what's the word? Almost sacrilegious that, there's a Trump Bible. I feel like it's kind of sacrilegious. I'm not even really a churchy person. I'm not even sure I constitute as a religious person. But still, it's And, I guess if a guy wants to come out with his own Bibles, this is America. But when you start using taxpayer money, Ryan Walters here, to try to purchase those and making the little law say that where, the only Bibles that can be, used in school for teaching is those particular ones, then I feel like it's not insider trading. I forget what you call it. But, I think it's borderline. It's similar to that. I can't remember what it's called, but basically passing a law that basically it favors one company or whatever. I don't remember, but it's unethical. It's unfucking ethical to me. I'm fine with people having, prayer and stuff in school. I'm fine with it, but just don't use the taxpayer money for that shit. That's all I say. Anyway, so yeah. So not only does someone do that, Oklahoma's new Office of Religious Liberty and Patriotism announced. They're making an office. There's an office they're making for this. Welcome to the Fourth Reich. God dang. Maybe that's overreacting. I don't know. But it seems a bit fucking weird. Like, God almighty. State Superintendent of Education Ryan Walters announced a new Office of Religious Liberty and Patriotism. That seems so weird. The Office of Patriotism. I feel like this is an office would have been there around the 1920s and 30s when people were having the Red Scare and they were afraid of communism. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'd be concerned about Bolsheviks too. And in fact, we have the third or fourth generation of Bolsheviks we're worried about, getting in our government anyway. But this is still some fucking weird ass shit. I guess if you live long enough, you see yourself become the villain. I don't know. But this office is set to promote religious liberty and patriotism while advocating for parents, teachers, and students' abilities to practice religion freely. I feel like being able to practice religion freely is already in the Constitution. There's already Supreme Court rulings. To have an office for this, set to promote it. Okay. I don't think the government should be promoting, I don't know. I feel like the freedom of religion is already a promoted thing. And something tells me they're not going to necessarily be supporting or promoting Catholics or Hindus. I'm fairly sure they're not going to be included in that. According to Walters, this office will oversee an investigation of abuses to displays of patriotism or individual religious freedom. I'm guessing they're referring to, like, I guess if a kid wants to go to school with a shirt made out of the American flag and the teacher gets mad. I guess that's what they're saying, like displays of patriotism. I'm assuming that's basically. But I think that's covered under the First Amendment for freedom of expression. I feel like that's already a thing, To have an office that is supposed to investigate that, I feel like that's a thing already, People have already had issues about school kids having like flags at school or American shirt, or American promoting shirt. And it was part of their First Amendment right to free expression, which I support. I absolutely support. I just feel like having an office, this feels like a weird redundancy. I feel like this is just another excuse to use taxpayer dollars. Schools are expected to receive guidance on how to ensure the right to pray in school is protected. I feel like that's already covered, but I mean, it's good. I mean, it's good to send people leaflets letting know what their rights are. I mean, that is a good thing. Walters issued a statement regarding the establishment of a new office. Here we go. For decades, our nation's public schools have tragically been ground zero for the erosion of religious liberty across our country. For decades. Really? For decades? Are we sure? Are we sure about decades? Because I remember going to Mayfield Middle School. And I was like 12, I think, at the time. This was like, all right, so if I'm 12, it makes it like 1993, 1994, somewhere in that vicinity. And one of my first classes in the morning, I forget which class it was. I remember the guy is also a teacher, but he was also like a football coach. So his name was Coach Hoke. And if you wanted to, in the mornings, right before the bell rang, you could go to his class and he would hold a prayer. He would hold a prayer class or a little, like, it was like a 20, 30-minute thing where it was like a little prayer group if you wanted. You were free to do so. You could show up, have some donuts, or not. That was fine. Like, so I don't know necessarily what he means by for decades. I mean, maybe in other states, but I didn't see much of that here in Oklahoma, which is what we're dealing with here. So I think Coach Hoke might have been English class. It's been a long fucking time because I'm 43 now, so it's been a long time. But I remember his name, oddly enough. Anyway, the radical left never misses a chance to co-opt the teachers' union and their minions to indoctrinate our children against traditional values of faith and family, seeking to attack any display of faith or religion or patriotism. Well, again, I just haven't had my ear to the ground, but last I heard, students, and I assume this is for the students, I haven't heard anybody getting in trouble for wearing a necklace with a cross on it or a Star of David or any of that. So I haven't heard anyone taking away those rights. And teachers' unions, I mean, they might be a little bit leftist. I mean, I don't know really any of them. But it's odd they make unions in general sound so fucking bad. But, if it weren't for unions, we wouldn't have some of the labor laws that we have. We wouldn't necessarily have the 5-day work week. You know what I mean? I mean, unions have been good, when they're needed. But, now don't get me wrong. I don't think teachers should have much of any play in faith and family. That should be for the family to deal with. Okay, more of it apparently. It's no coincidence that the dismantling of faith and family values in public schools directly correlates with the declining academic outcomes in our public schools. To be fair, I never saw any of that in school when I was a kid. My grades absolutely still sucked. My daughter, thankfully, makes better grades than I did. In Oklahoma, we are reversing the negative trend and working with the incoming Trump administration. We are going to aggressively pursue education policies that will improve academic outcomes and give our children a better future. Now, I understand that maybe there's certain federal expectations for education, but as far as I can tell, Oklahoma hasn't been meeting those. The federal government, as far as I know, isn't doing anything to stop Oklahoma in its learning. Even with the having the Board of Education and all of this, which they want to get rid of, Oklahoma has ranked 49th in education. And I don't feel like, the federal government has interfered in Oklahoma schools too much. I think the call is coming from inside the house is really what I think it is. I mean, I'm pretty sure the federal government didn't force Oklahoma to be 49th in education. The federal government certainly had nothing to do with my grades being absolute shit when I was a kid. But okay. All right. Walters attributes an incident in Sky took last year as part of the new office's responsibility regarding supporting teachers and students when their constitutional rights are threatened. This new office establishment follows one of the President-elect Trump's new education priorities, freedom to pray. Last I checked, again, I don't think it's illegal to pray in school. I am not aware of that. I mean, maybe it's not promoted, but it's not discouraged. As far as I can tell. I feel like this is some really weird shit they're doing. I feel like this is under the guise of something else. I don't know. But that's the silliness on that. But there's more. Oh, hello, Muffin. Ooh, Muffin brought me cigarettes. I love you. No. Ah. All right. But there is another article about him. Apparently, he has released some sort of video, and he wanted it played to all the students in the state. And apparently at least three Oklahoma superintendents are refusing to show the Ryan Walters videos to students. Apparently, he was pushing very much for that to be shown, which is, again, kind of weird. But I don't know much about the video, so I'm going to jump in it. At least 3 large Oklahoma school districts said Friday that they have no intention of showing the video of state school superintendent Ryan Walters discussing his state agency's new Office of Religious Liberty and Patriotism, despite Walters saying doing so was required. How dare you not show the children my video? Okay. What the fuck? He's talking about having freedom and this and that, but he's trying to force people into watching his video. Superintendent of Edmond, Mustang, and Moore districts each sent a letter to parents and others saying that they would not show the video. The state attorney general's office backed this district up. There is no statutory authority for the state school superintendent to require all students to watch a specific video, said Philip Bacharach, I guess, a spokesman for the attorney general's office. Not only is this edict unenforceable, it is contrary to parents' rights, local control, and individual free exercise rights, which is correct. Exactly. They go on and on about, parents' rights and this and that, and then say, well, I'm going to force you to watch my video. What the fuck is that? Is this the video, I guess?
$3 million to provide Bibles to the Oklahoma classrooms. We have talked about.
Oh, yeah, back that up, yeah. $3 million.
Bibles to the Oklahoma class for $3 million.
He wants to spend the $3 million on those Trump Bibles. I told you that's what he wanted to do. That's fucking insane.
To provide Bibles to the Oklahoma classrooms.
Trump Bibles.
We have talked about ensuring that our history courses include the role the Bible played throughout American history. We've talked about the efforts of left-wing groups and the teachers' unions to drive the Bible out of school. I believe it's important for.
There is literally no law against having a Bible in school. I'm just going to tell you that now. There's not. There's no law against it.
Historical context for our kids to understand the role the Bible played. And so that $3 million ask is provided in the budget in front of you. That would be in conjunction with the $3 million that we're putting forth currently to provide Bibles in the classroom. So this would give us the ability to utilize $6 million.
$6 million. Fuck me.
In less than 2 years to ensure that the Bible hasn't been driven out of Oklahoma classrooms.
He wants to spend $6 million when Bibles are not. It's not against the law to have a Bible in school. It's not. And he wants to spend $6 million of our tax-paying dollars to give to Trump, because obviously when you put out a book, you get proceeds from that. So he's actually wanting to get Trump Bibles, and the way they lettered the law, there's no other Bible that fits the criteria except the one that Trump made. And he wants to spend $6 million tax dollars on this. Just saying.
That would be a significant step for the state of Oklahoma to ensure that we're not allowing the left to censor American history.
First off, no. I hate to say it, but my party has actually been quite efficient in trying to censor history here in Oklahoma. I was in my 30s when I found out there was a Tulsa race riot that had happened back in 1921, I think, where the military came in and killed a bunch of civilians. I was in my 30s when I found that out. Yeah, they wanted to get rid of anything that was considered, uncomfortable history. They've spent the last couple of years doing that. I can't remember who did it, but there were some people even responsible for getting rid of To Kill a Mockingbird out of public schools because it made people uncomfortable. Well, newsflash, that's the point of the book. It's supposed to make you feel uncomfortable because it's fucking terrible shit that happened in that book. It's supposed to make you uncomfortable. That's kind of the point of it. But yeah, this fucking ridiculousness. Okay, I read that part. All right, so thought I'd get you caught up on what's going on here in Oklahoma because, fuck, it's insane. Now back to the stuff I normally complain about. Now, I don't know if you remember, but like 2 or 3 complaints of this last time, and I said it's funny how they always say that it hits open space. That it hit an open area because Israel's trying to hide the fact they're receiving so much fucking damage, which is weird. How you play the victim, but you also don't want anyone to think you got hurt. It's a little weird. So, over 90 rockets fired at Haifa, which is what is it? It's on the east coast and up a little bit in Israel. The Haifa area in 2 barrages, homes, cars damaged, and multiple impacts. But not much. But let's say more than 90 rockets were launched from Lebanon to Haifa Bay in a short time ago. This was 3 days ago. I've been a little slacky on the news, sorry. In the first barrage of 80 rockets, the IDF said most were shot down by air defenses, but several struck inside towns. The second barrage consisted of 10 rockets, all of which the IDF said were either intercepted or hit open areas. That seems to happen a lot. Like, I'm surprised this actually, I don't know how 80 rockets could have hit inside of a town, but they're not giving you a death count. Like, how did that not kill somebody? I'm saying, it's kind of weird. Damage was caused to homes and cars in Kiryat and a teenager was slightly hurt by glass shards. It marks one of the largest rocket attacks on the port city amid the fighting with Hezbollah. On October 8th, 2024, Hezbollah launched over 100 rockets at Haifa in 2 barrages. And it's interesting, like said, like one teenager was slightly hurt with glass, which is a shame. Like, I'm sorry if kids get hurt. I am. So, like, I'm not cheering for that. I'm not that much of a dick. But it just seems weird that 100 rockets, or 90 rockets come flying and only one person is slightly hurt by glass. It makes me I don't feel this is believable. How did this get hit and nobody was killed? I feel like, again, it's another reason why I have a hard time believing a lot of the news Israel says. Now, some of the stuff that I don't think is convenient to them, I'm more likely to believe. But statistically, I find this unlikely. Let me go check on everybody real quick. Oh my goodness, hello. Let's see. Go up a little bit. Oh, I would go up quite a bit. Hello, Frosty Broccoli. How are you? Okay, want to make sure I didn't miss everybody too bad. Hey, Milton. I got chocolate with a hard setting chocolate sauce, you mean? Let's see. But it's the same as them wanting to indoctrinate. Exactly. They just want to indoctrinate the kids the way they want them done, not the way someone else wants them done. But yes, exactly. It's up to the individual. You should be allowed to pray in any. Exactly. And it's not illegal in Oklahoma to pray. You can pray in school if you want. Absolutely. I mean, hell, nobody would stop you. They'd be afraid of a lawsuit. So having an office for this is ridiculous. It's not that you get hardcore Christians in an uproar, they can control them more, right? Made in China for about $3. Yeah, no kidding. 70. Talk about. Yeah, I think they're. I don't know, man. I think they're like. How much are they? They might be about $70, I guess. I've never looked it up. I had no urge to buy them. I'm not interested in buying any new Bibles. I like trying to buy old things, as old as I can, before they got changed or altered. I like trying to see what that's about. He wants to spend $6 million to try to force his religion down. Pretty much, yes. That is about it. Yeah. Why isn't he talking about Buddha? Oh, exactly. I do wonder if this Office for Religious Freedom would be protecting the Muslims. I doubt it highly. I really do. Because a lot of them don't like Muslim people. I'm not even sure any of them, I don't think many have met them, but uncomfortable speech is supposed to be protected. Exactly. By the First Amendment, not comfortable speech. That includes history. Exactly, my friends. That's exact. Hey, Apex, meow meow. How are you? I fucking news net. I should call it the fucking news network. I should. I like that. I should do that. Israel took what was done to them in World War II as an example. I've been watching some shit. I'm gonna have to show you later, but even World War II may not be exactly what they told us. Somewhat, but not exactly. I've seen some stuff that makes some fucking sense. Like you see all the videos of them being all emaciated. Well, food was hard to get. And with Allied powers bombing supply routes where it's hard to get food in, that might have been one of the reasons that he looked emaciated. It may not have necessarily been on purpose. It may have been because there was a supply chain issue because it was getting bombed. And I'm like, that makes fucking sense. And plus, of course, disease was rampant. A whole bunch of typhus and shit. That'll fuck anybody up. I'm not saying they were good guys. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that the extent that we saw may have been partially to do to supply chains getting fucked up. So I'll show you. Actually, you know what is it called? Europa: The Last Battle. If you can find that, you might actually find it on Twitter. Strangely enough, Elon Musk has allowed that to happen. Apparently, he's let it be a free speech free for all. The only place I know to find it is on Twitter. Actually, I don't even know if I still have it up. I think I might be able to find it. Actually, hold on. What is this? Oh, I'll show you all that later. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it. Europa. Let me see if I can find something about it. They actually have a thing for it. Soon all will be revealed. Well, that sounds fantastic. Soon all will be revealed and then fucking nothing. Well, shit. That was... Oh, it's available on BitChute. Okay. Copy. All right, I'll just put this in the chat, and you guys can look at it later if you choose to. And it's interesting. It's an interesting what do you call it? A different perspective on history. You know, it doesn't hurt to look at a different view of things, and the shit they say does make a lot of sense. Some of the photos of the camps were German villages, forestings, to those camps by Adelaide and rush of forces getting... Right? Yeah, there was some of that. And crazy enough, some of the pictures weren't quite legitimate. And I got the craziest reference for that. Anne Frank's stepsister admits that the photos, I'm not saying that because I don't want to get in trouble on YouTube, were, said completely fake. And so what she basically explains... And here's his name, Stu Peters, and this was posted June of 2024. So you can go check out his thing, and you can find the video. You can probably just narrow it down to media. It'll help you go through the posts faster to find it. But she basically says they didn't have any cameras or anything on hand when the liberation happened, which I thought was weird because I thought a lot of them did. At least a few did for recording historical reasons. And so she said that they reenacted it later on and then took pictures, which makes me question things because and look at that. I want to point that out real quick. Let's back that up for just a second. I just want to look how big this fucking nun is. First off, why is there a nun there if this is supposed to be legitimate? Why is there a nun there, and why is her outfit completely crisp and clean? And why is she 6'7"? She's bigger than anybody there. That's a man, baby. I'm sorry. Look at the walk. That is not a feminine walk at all. That is a man walk. That's a man walking, dressed as a nun. I don't know why, but that is a man, baby. But yeah, go ahead and check that out if you would like. Actually, you know what? Can I share that? Yeah, I can share that. Hold on. Copy link. I'll just drop that and you can just look at it at your own, whenever it interests you. Ooh, that sounds fun. She had been rewritten because of explicit sexual contact. Oh, yeah. What's interesting is that sexual contact that you're talking about, or some of it. So, her mom, her dad, I think his name's Otto, and one of the dad's friends who was also in his 40s, late 30s, early 40s, whatever it was. And people were, I guess they were sleeping wherever they could. And the parents had one room, and they put this guy, this 40-year-old man, in this room with Anne to sleep in there. And apparently in her book, she said something about her first kiss being from this 40-year-old man. Which, I'm sorry, that sounds like grooming to me. That sounds like you're grooming a kid. And the parents, the dad fucking apparently was on board with it. So that's fucking creepy as shit. And then I heard some stories about how the last part of Anne Frank's Bible, God help me, I'm still stuck on that Trump Bible shit. Her journal was written in ballpoint pen, which apparently was not a thing at that time. That shit was going on. And I haven't seen the book personally, so I don't know. But it does sound kind of odd, but yeah. But I thought I'd share that bit with you. So let me get back to this mess here. Close that out. So 3 days ago, U.S. forces, or at least this is when this came out, U.S. forces strike Iran-backed targets in Syria. They've been looking for an excuse to go after Syria for a fucking while. But let's say U.S. forces attack Iran-backed targets in Syria after attacks on Americans. Before I scroll down, maybe it's Americans who were overseas in places they shouldn't be. That is a possibility. Let's find out. Because I'm sure if it happened here, we'd know about it. U.S. forces on Monday conducted 9 strikes on Iran proxy. They love the word Iran proxy. I think they have a drinking game connected to this. They probably do. Iranian proxy targets in Syria. The response into recent attacks on American personnel in the region. Yes, they weren't where they fucking should have been. They were over fucking with Syria. Ah, big fucking shock. U.S. Central Command said in a statement, the strikes, which took place at 2 separate locations, were in reaction to several attacks on the U.S. personnel in Syria. Ah, yes, in countries where you're not welcomed and not wanted. Over the last 24 hours. According to Central Command, the overseas Washington forces and military assets in the Middle East region. Anytime you hear the word military assets, it is some shenanigans going on. Just saying. So we're over there fucking with it. They have been fucking with Assad and his country at least when it came to my attention in like 2012. I'm sure it was before that too, but since, in my recollection, in my memory, since 2012, they have been attempting to assassinate him. I think there was like 2 assassination attempts on Assad in the last 12 years. Like, they have absolutely been trying. Ever since they got Gaddafi, they've been going after him. Well, even before that, really. These strikes will degrade an Iranian-backed group's ability to plan and launch future attacks on the U.S. It's not on the U.S. Like, it's on soldiers that shouldn't be there. But the U.S. is right here. I'm in the U.S. They're not attacking here. And coalition forces who are in the region to conduct DISS operations. I don't know what the fuck that means, but I am going to go find out. So let's go see what the fuck that even means. Defeat ISIS mission. Okay, thank you. All right. Appreciate it. Thank you. All right. So, okay, I figured they've been after ISIS for a while anyway, and they're using ISIS again as an excuse to get stupid. Ugh. The Central Command Commander General Michael Eric Kurla, I guess, said the strike sent a clear message that the attacks on the U.S. and coalition partners in the region will not be tolerated. So how dare you shoot at us when we trespass onto your property? We will not let you get away with that. That's basically what I'm reading. Iranian-backed groups and other militant organizations have increased attacks on U.S. troops in the region since the Israel-Hamas war began in the Gaza Strip in October of 2023. Can't imagine. In August, 8 American service members were treated for traumatic brain injury and smoke inhalation after a drone attack in Syria that officials believe were carried out by Iranian-backed militia. So they believe so. They're not even actually sure. They just believe that is the case, which means it could have been anybody, including, a certain country with a Star of David that been wanting to go after Syria for the longest time. And, if you make the people who are helping you think that the person you hate attack them, they will attack that person. The fucking convenience of it, huh? Anyway, American forces in turn have sought to counter such groups. Since August 29th, Central Command forces carried out more than 95 defeat ISIS operations, some of which included strikes on Syria that killed 163 terrorists. First off, America is not that precise. It's 163 people. There might have been a couple of terrorists in there. That's possible. But the odds of you getting 163 terrorists, I feel like the civilian count is probably not being mentioned here. And led to the capture of 33 of them. About 900 U.S. forces are operating in Syria. 900 forces. That's not even 900 people. That's 900 forces. I'm assuming there's a fuck more. It's like, was that just 900 companies? Is that what it is? 900 groups? Throughout, though the U.S. military has bolstered its forces in the region. So there's 900 groups of U.S. forces acting up around Syria. And they're surprised they're getting shot at. I feel like if you got that many U.S. soldiers in Syria, you have invaded Syria. I feel like that. Because what is the definition of invading a country? I feel like if you sent your troops to that country, and you're there against their will, and you use lethal force on them if they don't obey you, that's an invasion. I don't know why we're calling it anything else. We've invaded Syria. Let's just call it what it actually is. Next. All right, so I went and looked, and Shin Bet is basically like the FBI for Israel. I couldn't remember exactly what they were. I thought they were like Department of Homeland Security, but I wasn't fucking totally sure. But, all right, so Shin Bet is basically like their FBI. So the Prime Minister denies reports that Shin Bet tried to reach Netanyahu, Prime Minister's office, I guess. Shin Bet tried to get a hold of Netanyahu hours before the onslaught of October 7th. And the Prime Minister says, no, they didn't. And they're like, yes, we did. So Netanyahu is trying to fire the leaders of Shin Bet. And he's just like, he's already got rid of his defense minister and hired a new guy who's nothing but a yes man. He's not actually qualified for that job. At least the nutcase he had in office before that was a general. So at least he'd actually kind of knew what he was doing. But yeah, so now Netanyahu's basically, calling for Shin Bet's head. That's something else. Boy, oh boy. The Prime Minister's office firmly denies the TV report that Shin Bet security agency was unable to reach Benjamin Netanyahu's chief of staff shortly after Hamas launched its attack on October 7th. Channel 13 reports that the Shin Bet was trying to reach a guy named Braverman regarding unusual activity in Gaza, including indication that Israeli SIM card activated by Hamas forces at 5 a.m. I'm sorry, let me look at this again. Including indications of Israeli SIM cards activated by Hamas forces? So, wait. So, you're telling me Hamas had Israeli SIM cards? Like, maybe I'm reading into that weirdly. But, like, what? Okay. So, alright, so I'm going to just go with what I'm guessing here. So, I'm going to guess that they, somehow made Israeli SIM cards available to Hamas so that way they could spy on them and eavesdrop on their conversations, know where they are, whatever the fuck it is you do with this kind of thing. So you're telling me that they had this and they still got themselves fucked up? Shin Bet tried to warn them and the Prime Minister's office just couldn't be bothered? What? Okay. Less than 2 hours before the start of the Hamas deadly onslaught on the southern Israeli communities. Prime Minister's office said that absolutely did not happen. Well, of course he's going to say that. If he fucked up or allowed this to happen, you really think he's going to come out and admit it? Hell fucking no. Hell no. Absolutely not. As a general rule, an intelligence update from Shin Bet to the Prime Minister goes through the Prime Minister's military secretary, continues the statement. In the hours before the October 7th massacre, the Chief of Staff did not receive any phone calls from anyone. The post, let's see, well, this is basically this, first appeared on Times of Israel, so they're just reposting what they did. I'm still stuck on this, though. Israeli SIM cards activated by Hamas forces. Now, because I remember about a month ago, we were going through these, and they said that one of the reasons why they didn't realize October something was going to happen, even though I told you it was horseshit, is that they didn't have any inside intel or inside people in Hamas. They didn't have any inside intel of any kind, and that's why, and they didn't understand why they didn't. But here I'm seeing indications of an Israeli SIM card in Hamas hands, which contradicts that article I saw about a month ago. So, I just, draw whatever conclusions you want, but this sounds like fucking silly. This is why we look at this, and this is why we break shit down and compare articles. This is why we do it, because, we need to know what they're up to, or at least have a clue. All right. And a little continuation of that silliness. Let me get a drink here real quick. Because I need the air circulating, but the fan dries my face out. All right. Getting rid of those troublesome officials. Oh, there's some humor to it. Can Netanyahu fire the Attorney General, the IDF chief, and Shin Bet head? So basically, he wants to fire the leader of his military and the leader of their FBI agency, basically. He's just going to try to replace everybody he can so he can stay in power. Because he's actually got a trial coming up, from what I understand. I'm going to see if I can find anything about that. Actually, fuck it. Let me go look it up right now. Because my ADHD, I will not remember. So, hold on. Let's see. Netanyahu. Sorry. Trial. 2024? Is that when his trial is? Oh. I spelled trial wrong because I'm a fucking idiot. Well, actually, I'm slightly dyslexic, so sorry about that. All right. Let's see this real quick. Is this it? All right. Israeli court rejects Netanyahu's bid to delay corruption trial. I told you they had been trying to get rid of this guy for a while. They've been trying to bring charges on him for the last 2 years. And this is one of the reasons I think that he helped create this war, because it makes it much harder to remove him from power if they're in the middle of a war. On top of he just wants to make a shit ton of money and steal land, but, you know. The court ruled that Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu must take the stand on December the 2nd in a trial that has stretched out for more than 4 years. Oh, fuck me. I only knew about the 2 years. I didn't realize that for 4 years they have been trying to lock him up. My bad. 4 fucking years. My bad, folks. I underestimated. The Israeli court on Wednesday rejected a new request by Benjamin Netanyahu to delay testifying in his corruption trial. So this guy's a fucking piece of shit. We'll go check this out in a little bit, but, you know. Yeah. So he's trying to protect his stupid ass. Anyway, we'll go back to this article, sorry. I'll just go on tangents if I don't. Let's see. At a cabinet meeting on Monday, meanwhile... Oh, wait. At a cabinet meeting on Monday, meanwhile, the Prime Minister said is to have accused Bahavara Maria. It's some lady. I forget. We talked about her last week. Of causing constitutional crisis by pushing for a dismissal of far-right National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir for intervening in the function of the police in ways prohibited by the High Courts of Justice. Ben-Gvir is a fucking nutcase. That dude, I swear to God. Like, look up videos of this guy. For real, look up videos. This guy's a fucking fruitcake. Jesus Christ. Netanyahu's comments reflect his and his government's deep resentment toward the Attorney General. Who, you know what? I almost would have put $5 on the fact that, you know, probably in the next couple of months, that lady might end up dead, that Attorney General. She might end up dead if he gets annoyed with her enough. And just blame it on, you know, Hamas. Or accuse her. Actually, that would probably be easy. He'll probably just accuse her of working with Hamas, since that's kind of what he does. All right. Who has repeatedly opposed government decisions, actions, and legislation since the administration took office. Several ministers have repeatedly called for her dismissal. I bet they have. Accompanying the recent sacking of Defense Minister Gallant and disciplining of Coalition MK for defying the government's desire to pass laws to entrench the exemption of the ultra-Orthodox men from military service, the Prime Minister's critical comments regarding the Attorney General indicate that further house cleaning might be in the offing. I'm not sure that's the word they were looking for, but we'll go with it. Whatever. We know what he means. So he's trying to get rid of his Attorney General. He's just gonna, it's fucking corrupt as shit. The impression was reinforced in a report denied by Netanyahu that he was considering removing the IDF chief of staff, Halevi, and Shin Bet's domestic security force head, Ronan Bar, from their post. Well, time will tell. A move against the Attorney General, one of the key so-called gatekeepers of law enforcement system, as well as the heads of the security establishment, would set off loud alarm bells that critical institutions and the rule of law were being politicized. Well, no shit. Oh, and apparently a lot of people are pissed about it. Like, people are freaking out all over Israel and protesting this guy. TikTok's been changing their algorithm a little bit, so I'm not been seeing as many videos recently because they don't want me to. They're trying to entice me with kitty videos, which, I mean, I have to admit does work a little bit because those are fucking cute. And, like, clips of movies. That is the majority of my my For You page on TikTok right now. I have to go out of my way to find shit like this. TikTok discovered I can be easily distracted by cute little animal videos, unfortunately. So I'm going to have to try to break out of that. Although the radical legislation proposed by the government has been shelved, frozen, or struck down by the High Courts of Justice, The administration, Justice Minister Levin in particular, have continued attacks on the legal establishment. Given Netanyahu's ominous remark about finding a solution, I love how they kind of gave that quote, a solution, for the Attorney General, it is not beyond the realm of possible that he may seek to oust her as demanded by ministers, including the Likud, that's their political party, David Amsellem, you know, fuck, and Shlomo Karhari. Similarly, both Halavi and Barr have faced repeated attacks by cabinet ministers, while Netanyahu has accused the security establishment of failures relating to October 7th invasion and atrocities without taking full responsibility himself. Firing them doesn't seem to be a totally unrealistic step. But how can Netanyahu and his government go about ridding themselves of these troublesome officials if he wished to do so? Well, truth be told, he actually was laying the groundwork for this back in like May of 2023, months and months before the October 7th thing happened. He was actually trying to get rid of, you know what? I'll show you what I found. I remember this. Even in August, I was trying to warn people something's about to go down. Hold up. Let me think. Netanyahu. I am having trouble today. There we go. Supreme Court 2023. Let me see if this will help. I want to find the article I had found a long time ago. Let's see. That's earlier this year. It's not what I want. Oh, there we go. I don't know why it's doing this. I don't know why this stupid thing up here. All right. Israel's continuous legal overhaul comes to a head as judges hear case on their own fate. Pop-ups. Fuck off. It's uninteresting. Go away. Sakes. Yeah, this was people protesting then, too. They weren't happy about this shit. And this is from September 11th, 2023. So obviously before October 7th. The Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's judicial overhaul plan has plunged the country into 9 months of unrest and exposed bitter divisions within Israeli society. So he was setting this up before October 7th. Saying. I talk a lot of shit, but I do try to come with all the receipts. I do. By committee, sacking the Attorney General. Giving the Attorney General the boot is without a doubt the trickiest and most difficult dismissal to accomplish out of the three officials potentially in the firing line. The regulations for hiring and firing an Attorney General, the government's chief lawyer, and legal advisor are laid out in a government resolution passed in 2000. The resolution established five-member public committee that is responsible for appointing the Attorney General and plays a substantial role in dismissal process should the government go down that path. The committee comprises a former Supreme Court justice chosen by the President of the Supreme Court with the agreement of the Justice Minister. Now, as you saw in that article where... Oh, was it this one? No, hold on. I don't know what that's even doing over there. My TV glitched. Shit. There we go. Now, where was that article I just clicked on? That's actually kind of odd. Where did it go? Oh, that was the other thing. Well, you saw that the justices were wondering about their jobs. Well, he might have saved their job if they promised that they would help him out in something like this. So he might actually have his ducks in a row to get rid of the Attorney General because of that article I showed y'all a few minutes ago, where they were worried about their fate in his judicial overhaul. I think that's what he was setting up to do. Just in case he ran into this issue here, he might have them on his side because they want to keep their position. All right. Let's see. Let's see, Supreme Court justices chosen by the president, blah, blah, blah. We got to that. MK chosen by the Knesset's Constitutional Law and Justice Committee, headed by Religious Zionism Coalition, a guy named Rothman, a representative of the Israeli Bar Association, and a law professor chosen by the deans of Israel's University Law Facility. So, and there's no telling, like, he had been preparing this for a while, because he had at least a year or so to prepare. Because he probably knew what was coming with that trial. Because remember, they've been trying to put him on trial for corruption for 4 years. So he's probably been setting this up, playing the long game to try to stay in power. I'm not exactly sure, like, other than just stealing land and killing people, I'm not exactly sure what he thinks the end game will be. But if he gets enough of what he wants done, he might just kill his opponents, or make it look like another terrorist attack. I don't know. Oh, this is from a while back, but I wanted to show you the inconsistencies in their fucking stories. So this girl, they said she died on October 7th. Apparently she was I guess taken captive, they said. The date of this is October the 25th, 2023 at 2:52 p.m. Y'all all see this, right? Yeah. Now, maybe my brain just doesn't perceive things correctly, but on October the 25th, the death of Enbar Heyman, 27, was confirmed on December 16th of 2023. Okay, hold on. October comes before December, correct? Like, I want to make sure I'm not missing something. Like, do I have to go back to first grade? Like, maybe I'm just not getting it. Because this was published October 25th of 2023. But her death was confirmed December the 16th. A few months difference there. Tell me I'm not the only one that finds that just a little bit fucking strange. And I'm looking and I don't see anything that says this was updated. Although it wouldn't make sense to do that. You would just make another fucking article. There's no sign this has been updated in any way. So on October 25th, she was declared dead on December 16th. Maybe I'm just stupid, but I feel like something's just not quite jiving right there. So whatever, right? Let me go see what y'all got to say. Because I feel like there's some shenanigans in that somewhere. Let's see. Diary Man Frank was rewritten. Yeah. Man Nun. Right? Yeah. It's sad that this doesn't surprise. I know. But, yeah, I just feel that's weird. Because, like, in October the 25th, how would you know that somebody's going to be dead on December 16th? Or confirmed dead on that date? Just sounds fucking bizarre. Thought I'd share that because I like going through some of the old stuff from when it first happened, before everybody got their story straight, and kind of glance over it. And this is the kind of shit that kind of gets me going. Seeing inconsistencies like this. This is just a kind of a big one. You got October, November, boom, December. Fucking bizarre there. All right, and here in propaganda world, they're trying to give us an excuse to send more troops, I guess, to Syria. Assad's regime should be attacking Israel, not its own citizens. That's not the headline I would have fucking expected somebody to publish, but, okay. But think about this, though. And yes, this looks quite unfortunate and sad. It's very sad. But what I'm finding odd is if Assad has his hands full being, attacked, and why would he go after his own citizens? I'm not saying Assad's a good guy. I'm not. But the majority of the time we go after Middle Eastern leaders, we use, he's hurting his people. We said that about Hussein. We said that about Gaddafi. We've been saying about Assad for years. We always use the excuse, they're attacking their own citizens with, like, mustard gas or some fucking shit. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't believe these are good guys. I'm not saying they are, but it just seems weird that, using excuse, they're hurting their own citizens. So we go over there and we start shooting shit up, including their citizens. That's like people who are pro-life bombing an abortion clinic to prove how pro-life they are. This is the vibe that gives. It doesn't fucking make sense to me. So I don't know why Assad would be attacking his own citizens. I feel like this was done probably by America or Israel because they have been launching attacks at Syria. They probably hit an area where they had a bunch of civilians and thought, fuck, let's blame it on Assad. Because, how's that going to look? Let's see. Jana, a 5-year-old girl. Abdul, a 12-year-old boy. Both went to school that October day and never came home. All of that sounds very sad. Yes. Although it's probably just a... Yeah. Oh, let's see. Anyway, a few hours separate, the regime artillery shell that killed Jana in the Jabal area and the death of Abdul, who had been working in a nearby sawmill. A 12-year-old was working in a sawmill? Well, whatever. Was hit by a missile from a Russian warplane? Wait, what? Okay. Not what I expected, but okay. They were the youngest of the 11 civilians killed in the massacre over a 2... Okay, so if 11 kids are killed in Syria, that's a massacre. But as long as you call them Hamas, it's okay to kill a bunch of kids, right? Isn't it weird how some kids matter and other kids don't? That's fucking wild to me. But okay, whatever. Over 2 days of aerial and ground bombardment in a number of towns and villages in Idlib. Mid-October attacks also wounded more than 30, according to Syrian civil defense. In mid-October, I guess last month. Russian warplanes carried out 20 strikes on several towns in the western countryside of Hama and Idlib province. Now, again, I'm not saying the Russians are good guys, but what would be the point? What would be the point of Russian war? And didn't they say Assad was killing his own civilians? Like, maybe we're going to get to that in a minute. But it's implying here that Assad did this. So why is Russian warplanes being used in this? I think they're just hoping people will just watch the headlines and not actually look at anything else. So, okay. In Aleppo, an Iranian and Hezbollah militia launched artillery attacks on the city of Atrab, killing at least 1 civilian and wounding 8 others, including 2 children. I feel like there's 2 different stories mixed in here. I don't know. On October 16th, Syrian regime forces and their allies bombed civilian homes in the villages of Marbalit in Jabal. Okay. So we want to go after Syria for bombing civilians, but we are paying Israel to bomb civilians. Huh. I guess it's not what you do, it's who you know. Fuck. Besides, again, I'm not saying that Syria is the good guys, but why would they attack their own civilians when they're busy being attacked by America and Israel? That doesn't make any sense. At that point, you got your hands full. Why would you bother killing? It would make more sense to keep your civilians because then, at the very least, you could conscript them into fighting for you against the U.S. and Israel. Why would you kill your own civilians? It doesn't make any sense. Like, tell me how that makes any fucking sense to anybody. I mean, it's like any other crime. You gotta look at the motive and opportunity and shit. Like, there's no motive. So I don't believe that he's guilty of this. And plus, again, they're talking about warplanes. The fuck? Russian warplanes, specifically. Like, I'm not sure what that has to do with Assad. But, again, I figured it was just good to look critically at that and just be like, alright. This fucking guy. So the new Israel's defense minister, Israel Katz, it's really his name, says Israel has defeated Hezbollah. Fantastic. Fantastic. I hope that means you will stop bombing Lebanon. Of course not. Because here we go. New Hezbollah targets reached. Expanded South Lebanon ground operation. Of course. Because they said, hey, we defeated them. But new targets. Jesus fucking Christ. God help me. Anyway. The IDF has further expanded its ground operation in southern Lebanon. Of course they fucking did, because why not? With the 91st Division reaching its new targets. I love how they even put it sarcastic quotes, new targets, belonging to Hezbollah. Even though supposedly they've been defeated, but okay. I think they're just not tired of killing people is what it is. The IDF says commandos operating with the division raided several new areas as other brigades continue defensive and offensive activities in the area. Yesterday, the IDF said the 36th Division has expanded ground operations in southern Lebanon. I'm sorry. The 91st Division reaching new targets belonging to Hezbollah in southern Lebanon. I guess I got the 36th and the 91st, I guess. I don't know. Separately, the IDF says it struck dozens of rocket launchers in Lebanon, including ones used in the deadly attack on Nerara and long-range fire on central Israel today. Do you realize that these are the same people who were claiming that the reason they were attacking Lebanon is because, and they had to bomb civilians, was because civilians, get this, they claimed that civilians had rockets and missiles in their kitchens. I'm not kidding. Let me go see if I can find that, because that is it's horrifying and hilarious at the same time. It's very conflicting. Let's see. I think it's rockets in kitchens in Lebanon. Let me see if I can find that, because let's see. Because it's something Netanyahu had said. I just don't know. Okay, let me see if maybe I add. Let's see if that helps a little. Oh, here we go. Well, this is an article making fun of his claim. Rosenau, as he claims Lebanon citizens keep rockets and missiles in their kitchen. So, yeah, he went on a little thing. I'll see if I can find it. If I knew I was going to talk about this, I would have. Let's see. I would have had this prepared. Let me see. Was it this one? I don't know why this stupid part up here is still here. It doesn't seem to be it. They come up with so many silly things to say, honestly. You just get lost in all of this. Oh, well. TikTok had an absolute heyday making fun of it. So, yeah, that's a lie. All right. Oh, and that's the end of that article, actually. So, and of course, Israel has been after Anwar for a long fucking time, because Anwar was running those schools that this refugees were hiding at when they kept bombing those UN schools. And they were like, oh, they're part of Hamas. They said that since the second week of October of last year. They were saying, oh, Hamas is the UN. And then there's Hamas. Yeah. They've been claiming this for a long fucking time. So, of course, they're going to come up with this horseshit. The UN schools in Gaza, principals, staff identified as members in the terror unit. Oh, for heaven's sake. Yes, because I'm sure there's nothing terrorists love more than being teachers and principals dealing with unruly teenagers all day. I'm sure that's just their absolute prized thing to do. Jesus Christ. In July, Israel intelligence published an expose showcasing over 10% of Anwar's senior education staff in Gaza were members of Hamas or Islamic Jihad. Oh my goodness. The findings, shared with Anwar as well, were quoted as casting a dark shadow over the organization's claims of providing neutral and non-extremist education to Palestinian kids. Now, they have been wanting to defund Anwar for a long fucking time, since, this time last year. So, and they call anybody who tries to support Palestine in any way, even verbally, is considered part of a Hamas network. I'm serious. Look up Project Esther. You will shit. All right. Actually, I will show you something for the Project Esther thing in a minute. Just remind me to. Now, a detailed investigation by Impact has identified 12 Anwar school principals and deputy principals as active members of the militant organization, with many holding commanding positions in terror units. Oh my god. This discovery directly contradicts Anwar's chief, Felipe Lazzarini, recent assurances at the UN General Assembly about his agency's commitment to tolerant and anti-extremist education. Oh my. Bus bombing as barbecue party. What? Investigations focus on 5 Anwar schools, each led by individuals with confirmed members of Hamas military wing. Oh, for heaven's sakes. For instance, Al Zaytun Boys Preparatory and Elementary School principals Muhammad, we'll just say Juma, because I cannot pronounce this. Muhammad Juma served as a squad commander in Hamas's military wing in Gaza's brigade. I don't know how they say this with a straight face. 12 Anwar principals who are members of Hamas's military wing. Similarly, both the principal and deputy principal of the Al-Maghazi Boys Preparatory School, Masari and Samar, respectively, operated as squad commanders in Hamas's Khan Yunis brigade. Oh my goodness gracious. Where did they find the time? One of the most alarming findings was the discovery of Hamas tunnels beneath 2 of these educational institutions. They're always claiming tunnels. Oh my god. Oh, they're tunnels. How the hell is the city held up when they got so many tunnels underneath? I mean, come the fuck on. Good lord. And it makes me wonder another thing. Like, do you know the kind of trouble it takes to fucking build a tunnel? A structurally sound tunnel? With all that concrete and all that drilling, and you're telling me they build all this and nobody fucking noticed, and they keep acting surprised like, there's tunnels here. It's like, you know how much concrete and how many work trucks and how many everythings and how many years it takes to make all these tunnels, and they're acting like, nah. A lot of these were built in like 1982 when Israel had control of a lot of these areas. Because in 82, I do believe, was one of the times they invaded, Israel had invaded Lebanon. So then now they're claiming they found tunnels there too. It's funny, the places that like in the early 80s that Israel controlled happens to be where they're finding tunnels now. That's kind of funny. Anyway. Oh. And I wanted to look into the kid who wrote this. So I decided to. And I looked at some of the silly shit he writes. He's a freelance journalist. Let's see. I even found him on Twitter. He posted this. He says, meanwhile in La La Land, which I don't know what that means, Hezbollah claims they attacked the Kira base in Tel Aviv at 15:30 with UAVs. I think those are like tanks or something. Because I think it's some kind of utility something vehicles, I think. I don't remember what that stands for. And hit the targets with precision. Little quotes there. And let's say they claim the attack was part of a K-Bar offensive plan named after the massacre committed against Jews 1,400 years ago. So, of course, I decided to... where's my phone? Oh, there it is. To use my Google Translate thing, my little Google Lens. Y'all are free to also get your phones out, open up a search bar, and then click on that little picture icon next to your search bar to also look at it. All right. So what I'm getting here is a statement issued by the Islamic Resistance. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful, permission is given to those who are being fought because they have been wronged. And indeed, Allah is competent to give them victory. Allah the Most High and the Almighty has spoken the truth in support of our steadfast Palestinian people in Gaza Strip, in support of their valiant and honorable resistance, in the defense of Lebanon and its people within the framework of the K-Bar series of operations, and with the at your service, Nasrallah. I don't know. Might be some issues there. The Islamic resistance launched at 3:30. At 3:30 p.m. on Wednesday, for the first time, an air attack with a squadron of specialized suicide drones. Which that sounds kind of silly. Like, drones are fucking expensive. Like, why would you have a suicide drone? That sounds super weird to me. Those were kind of costly. But let's see, on the Kira base, the headquarters of the Israeli Ministry of War, let's see, management room, let's see, Air Force, military control and oversight in Tel Aviv. Let's see. I need to get the lower part of that because I couldn't really get that part. Victory only comes from God Almighty, the wise. 3:13 on Wednesday. November 13th on Wednesday. That's what I'm getting. Again, you're free to look at your Google Translate and see what it says. So what got me was that talking about the let me get to that part again so I can quote it correctly. All right. And it says at 3:30 p.m. Wednesday, they launched an attack for the first time. That sounds odd because how is that the first time? Not according to what Israel said. But so I asked this young man what the source of this image was. I said, "What is the source of this image?" He goes, "Hezbollah's Telegram." Well, I don't have a Telegram, but usually when you take a screenshot or save something from Telegram, doesn't it usually say Telegram at the top? Or have something that indicates like what time this was written? This is stuff that they wrote. This is them saying 3:30 p.m. That doesn't show when this was actually written. So nothing on this actually tells me that this came from anything other than perhaps a Microsoft Word or something. There's no indication this comes from Telegram. On top of the fact that Telegram is actually, let's see, well, this is kind of what it looks like. So he said, what did he say? What did he say right here? Hezbollah's Telegram channel. Okay, so this is what the young man here says. So I did my best to find that because it's the closest thing I could find. And there's talk about suicide drones, which is fucking weird because why would you pay so much money for something you're just going to crash, which is what I assume it means. Like, seems odd. And why doesn't it say Hezbollah live 24/7? Like, why is there none of that? And what's interesting, if you look at this close, every one of these end with pro-Israel and the flag. Why would Hezbollah do that? Pro-Israel. Pro-Israel. Every one of these supposed Hamas hologram things end with that. That doesn't make any fucking sense. As the kids say, make it make sense. Like, I don't get why. I don't know. It doesn't seem like something Hezbollah would do to me. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just my imagination. But it seems like an odd way to sign off on every one of these. Let's see. Hezbollah, the Mujahideen of the Islamic Resistance, attacked a building where soldiers were stationed in Metula and hit directly. Still says pro-Israel. So, yeah. Odd. This is some TikTok video showing, I guess, damage in Lebanon. Still at the bottom. Pro-Israel. So, again, make that make sense. Because that's kind of fucking bizarre, don't you think? Because it's weird to me. Oh, and supposedly a Hezbollah drone hits kindergarten near Haifa. Kids unharmed and they're in the bomb shelter, which is good. I don't want little kids hurt. Which is kind of the difference between us and the Zionists. I don't believe that children will automatically grow up to be terrorists, so I don't think it's right to kill them. That is one of the things that are different than, between me and the Zionists. I believe there's a whole nature versus nurture thing there. But, Yeah, they're making a big scene about that. Which, granted, I mean, I get it. If a kindergarten, got hit, that's something to freak out about. But it seems like Israel's okay with hitting schools with other people's children in it. And I do think it's statistically odd. Also, although there were no warning signs in Haifa, the staff, aware of alerts nearby, I assume maybe their phones went off or something, had moved the children to a faculty's bomb shelter as a precaution. And no kids were injured. Well, that's a good thing. Like, I'm glad no kids were hurt. I just think it's wild how, like, stuff keeps getting hit and they keep claiming nobody's been, like, really hurt or killed. That means statistically that just does not seem likely to me. Obviously I'm not wishing the worst for the kids, but it makes it really hard to believe their reporting in general. But now I'll get that out of the way. But yeah, I'm still stuck on the high. Every one of their fucking posts say pro-Israel. Still fucking bizarre. But y'all are welcome to go and check out Telegram. Do be careful though, just because you don't want the NSA to be like coming and knocking on your door asking why you're looking at this. Be like, well, I was trying to be an informed person. Anyway, but yes, I feel like this young man is full of shit. Ohad, I guess his name is. You like Telegram channel? Like, I mean, the way this is laid out, how these are, you got the channel name and like the reads, how many people seen it, the edits, the time. That's not on this. That isn't here. It looks like someone just wrote it out on Microsoft Word and took a screenshot or some shit. So I'm not inclined to believe the young man at all. Oh wait, all right. So let me see. November 13th. Okay. So let's see. Do we have anything for November the 13th? Telling the time. Okay, what's the time on that? May the 10th. Okay, hold on. May 10th. Let's move up some. May the 10th. Huh. Wait a minute. What? Let's keep going up. May the 10th. What the fuck? Were these all posted at the same time? May the 10th. You know what? Somewhere there's an article that was explaining that a lot of IDF control Telegram channels claiming to be terrorist groups, I guess to attract certain people in there and keep an eye on them. And they post and they do some fucked up shit like that. So I don't know. Let's see. Suicide drones. Okay. May 10th. You know what? Fuck all these people. For real. Like, what the fuck? Anyway, but yeah. I can't make heads or tails of that, so I don't even know. Anyway. And for our last article of the evening, yeah, I've been having theories that part of the reason why they're tearing up so much of these areas as aggressively as they are is because they're looking for archaeological stuff. So this was interesting. Archaeologists discovered a Christian church from the 4th century, one of the oldest in the world. That does sound fucking cool. It does. Archaeologists discovered a 4th century Christian church in Armenia, which probably means they're going to start being targeted next. That would, we'll put that on our 2024 bingo card and the 2025 one too, because Wayne, they're not going to stop. Because they're the oldest in the country. Armenia is believed to be the first Christian state in the world after King Teradates III converted to Christianity. I actually had no idea about that. That's kind of cool. The octagonal shape of the building wasn't common in the immediate area, but it was with the churches throughout the world, as the number 8 held symbolic meaning in the biblical context. So, just for the fuck of it, I will actually, let's see. I didn't mean that part right there. Back. Get my fucking map. Yes. I want to see exactly where that is located compared to everywhere else. Okay. That's going to be a dick about it. I want to know his exact location, so hopefully it'll show me. Here we go. All right, so it's not seeing it. I'm assuming Armenia is close to this area, but I'm not seeing it listed. Or is that actually it there? It's just not saying. I guess this is supposed to be Armenia, I guess. And it's close to Turkey. There's Azerbaijan, which is weird because it says this is Azerbaijan over here. I think we just need to find a better fucking map. Anyway, I was wondering how close to the rest of the shit. Okay, there's Azerbaijan, Armenia, Iran. So I'm wondering, since Iran is right near Armenia and they're attacking Iran, what stops them from moving up a little more to Armenia to look for the stuff they want? So maybe. Yeah. Anyway, so that's pretty much what I wanted to complain about for a few days. Yeah. So yeah, I think we've about covered it. Kind of got it all out of my system for right now. Oh, and I didn't have an article up, but apparently Trump has pledged his undying support to Israel, which is pretty much what he campaigned on. And apparently he's going to give them weapons with no restrictions. I mean, this is the damage they do with some restrictions? Because that implies there's restrictions now, and I don't see what restrictions there are. Let's see. Yep, going into Lebanon, getting sillier with it. Oh, I'm curious about this real quick. Trump Pentagon pick has been flagged by fellow service members as a potential inside threat. Then why the hell is he there? Why has he got the job he's got in the first place? Pete Hegseth walks into an elevator from meeting with the president. Let's see. This is from December 16th. He looks kind of young. Pete Hegseth, the Army National Guard veteran and Fox News host, nominated by Donald Trump to lead the Department of Defense, was flagged as a possible insider threat by fellow service members due to a tattoo on his bicep that's associated. Oh, this is the guy I saw. This is the guy that has Knights Templar tattooed on his chest. Like, it's a big fucking tattoo as well. But Hegseth, who downplayed the role of military members and veterans in the January 6, 2021 attack, railed against the Pentagon's subsequent efforts to address extremism in the ranks, has said that he was pulled by his District of Columbia National Guard unit from the guarding Joe Biden's January 2021 inauguration. He said that he was unfairly identified as an extremist due to the tattoo on his chest. Do they show that? Because it's fucking big ink. I'm surprised they're not showing it. Well, it won't be hard to find. Just look up Pete Hegseth and then like tattoo. You should be able to find it. It takes up like a quarter of his chest. It's like his left bicep and that general shoulder in that area. It's pretty decent size. Anyway, they're pretty much saying anything is like a white supremacist group now. Like, you can have Nordic or Viking like tattoos, and some people have said that's white supremacist group, which I don't know. It sounds silly. A Knights Templar, I mean, they just kind of killed a whole bunch of people. I don't think it was about race per se. Anyway, but yeah, so I know, right? Now I can relax. Now I've like depressurized all that. He's an idiot that thinks women can't serve in the armed forces. Hegseth? The guy with the tattoo? What a fucking twit. He probably says that because girls in the military probably turned him down. He's probably just a hater. But, and of course later I'll probably come up with find more stuff, because every time I do this, I see stuff like this. And I can't help myself, and I start just building more up. So, But I'm glad I can come here and bitch about this because it's the only way I can kind of just depressurize. Because TikTok likes to give me the fucking business. Because if I share a video like someone else's videos, I'm fine. But if I film something off my computer, like an article, like the article I showed y'all last time, where apparently Israel is going to loan their air defense system to Germany for some fucking reason. And I posted that, and I'm like, why would Germany need their air defense? And they flagged me, and get this, TikTok flagged that for civic and election integrity. I'm like, the election's over, and it has nothing to do with elections. It was a very fucking weird thing. That's the last 3 or 4 times they got me for that particular violation, even though there wasn't. What they're doing is that if you post a video, it has a chance of, catching the algorithm and doing good. But if they flag it and you have to appeal, then it kind of goes stale and it doesn't take off. And that's what they're actually doing to me. There's no, the last 10 appeals I've had, they were overturned. I was fine. And my video was restored. But it missed that wave. So it couldn't take off. And that's kind of what they're doing to me. And yeah, people are bitching like, oh, well, China, no. Ever since China has pretty much relinquished like Telegram to Israeli and American hands, I have been flagged more, silenced more than I ever was before. So I'm not sure I'm better off. I think I'd rather China fucking have it at this point. At least they'd let me fucking bitch about stuff without giving me any trouble. So, Anyway. I love you guys so much. You're super awesome. Super hugs to Lady Mist. Hugs to Apex and to Curtis YZ. Hugs to Milton. Going up. Hugs to Frosty Broccoli and hugs to Bone. Y'all are super awesome. Love you. Aw. Well, it's as safe a space as YouTube will let it be. Aw. So much hugs to you. Aw, and hugs to you, Bone. We love you. You're a good cat. Meow. Aw. Let me get our little song.
Welcome to the shit show. Every single day, a new flavor of fuckery. 'Cause everybody's such, you see, and they're dumber than a bag of clots. Monday, bullshit. Tuesday, bullshit. Wednesday, and then 4 more days of increasingly stupid, ridiculous